Hello and welcome. My name's Carl and we're on for Datadeer's Making Tax Digital Bridging Solution MTD webinar this morning. So the time's just gone 10 o'clock. Thank you very much for attending. I'm going to get started because we've got jam-packed. We've got around 25 to 30 minutes with time for questions towards the end. But we've got a lot of actual live demoing of the software to show you today. So without further ado, I'm going to kick in and get started. Just before I do, a little bit of housekeeping. I've muted everybody, so if you have any questions, feel free to pop these into the chat. It's just myself on the webinar today, so I'm not going to get a chance to see these as we're going along, unfortunately. What I'll do, as I say, is make sure that we get time to review the questions towards the end for us all there. I hope that's okay, and of course we can pick up separately after the webinar today if there is any questions that I've left unanswered. So thank you very much for that. So just to come in and really introduce myself briefly. So I'm the partner manager for Datadeer here in the UK. And effectively what my role entails is really working with accountancy practices, making sure that we set up the strategy and educating the team, training the team, that we actually get the efficiencies and the confidence whilst we're moving through these sort of difficult technology changes that are happening there. I've previously worked for Intuit and Sage in the past and very familiar with the cloud bookkeeping packages and love the sort of ecosystem that's being created, the efficiencies and really driving these down there. As you can see, I'm quite fond of a badge as well by the looks of things on there. And just on a quick Making Tax Digital update. So we are into April 2019 now. So MTD has come. And hopefully none of these myths that I'm about to bust will really surprise you. But as you can see, the four that have just crept onto your screen there, in that the existing Hmrc VAT portal will close. If anyone's checked over the past 12 days, you will notice that that's still open. And of course, those with a turnover below the 85,000 can still continue to use that as per usual. That 2 million businesses will be mandated. I think the latest estimates are about 1.2 million, but we'll actually hopefully get to see a really good figure sort of come late July, by the time everybody's actually registered for Making Tax Digital, and get a clear view of how many businesses fall above that 85,000 threshold there. That MTD for VAT is being postponed. Well, I hope nobody still believes this because it's already live and with us now. We're already completing live submissions for clients. There was actually a 6-month deferral for complex businesses, groups, etc., those with more complex scenarios. So the revenue should have written to you if you have got that deferral. If you had already adopted or you'd sort of gone on to the MTD just through some confusing communication, I know I've helped a lot of group companies already bridge and get their VAT data submitted where they'd actually earlier onboarded without really knowing about it. And finally, that MTD requires a cloud-based software package, or that Spreadsheets and Excel are not compliant in terms of Making Tax Digital. Well, I hope we know that they're all a myth, and I'm about to show you our great solution in action there as well. So just a quick update on Spreadsheets and Making Tax Digital. The key part is really that digital link, in that it's absolutely fine to contain your information. I mean, Microsoft Excel is absolutely a digital program. It's on our computers, it's on our phones. It's really hitting the digital record keeping requirements, and those are the minimum requirements that your clients need to be doing in supplies made, supplies received, the date, time of supply, value, customer, and the VAT rate that are charged. If you're capturing all of that information already, then it's just purely how we actually transpose the 9-box summary information, so the 7 boxes and the 2 calculated cells, over to the revenue, because we can no longer do so on the portal. But it is quite good that Hmrc has clarified digital links, so emailing a spreadsheet, transferring onto a portable device, import, export, automated data transfer and API transfers are all absolutely fine as well. So they are all accepted as digital links. The one point that I really thrash out and make a key note is copy and paste is not allowable. So if you've got your information on one workbook, you can't rekey that into another workbook, and you can't just copy and paste those figures. So you need to either do a lookup or link those cells, and it's really easy to do so. And I'll show you a couple of examples as we're going through our demo today. So coming to a quick overview, and specifically on our Hmrc link there, we've got 2 parts. So we're still using a great 2-way integration So we can get information back down from Hmrc, existing VAT payments, liabilities, returns, and obviously fetch your obligations, which is the first part. So it also populates that period that you're looking to submit for. And we can also post directly back in. So we can actually submit that 9-box summary information directly to Hmrc all through Excel. So we've got the two-way integration between the tool there. So let's come on and take a look at this in action. So I've got 4 parts here, and as I promised, it is quite a busy demo that we've got today here. But I've deliberately set these out to show you the flow and exactly how you would look to utilize the software. So to begin with, I'm going to start with adding and authorizing the software, just to show you through this journey. And I'm actually going to do it on a couple of scenarios, because then we've got 3 scenarios that we're actually going to submit in to Hmrc. So we're going to start with the very basic, and this could be relevant for new clients, or perhaps clients that are existing working on spreadsheets, but don't get much data back from there, and it's very light transactions. And that's just how to use our example ledger sheets that are just meeting the minimum requirements that you need to do. We'll then look at how to map an existing spreadsheet, because most people under this requirement will have some workings in some way, shape or form. And it's just really how to get the data from there over to Hmrc and how we can do so using DataDear. And then the final piece that we'll be looking at today is how to map it across from existing software. So the specific example that I've got prepared today is for a Sage 50, a non-compliant, non-MTD compliant old Sage 50 version. This solution works for pretty much any legacy software or any digital financial management tool that you can get the VAT data out from. So hopefully that'll show you how that can work for any clients that perhaps are using bookkeeping software, but it just simply doesn't have that Making Tax Digital link and requirement that they'd need from there. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into the software, give you a quick whistle-stop tour of DataDear, the Excel add-in as a whole, and then jump into the 4 elements there. It should take us, say, no longer than really 15-20 minutes to run through, and then we'll open up for questions from there. So hopefully now, as if by magic, we should be looking at a blank Excel workbook. And what I've done to begin with is completely start with a fresh Excel here. So first and foremost, once you've installed DataDear, your first visual change should be that you've now got DataDear accessible within your toolbar across the top within there. The first thing you'd need to do is log in with the credentials that you've set up once you've downloaded, so to actually get the download for the software from there. I'm already actually logged in within this. You've then got the functionality, and this is great for our agents, or if you're working on multiple VAT registration clients as well. You can see here that I've got multiple clients all linked within, and I can grab access to all of them straight within the toolbar from there as well. If I was to select a client, so let's actually just select one of the VAT clients within here. This is how we can get access to the reports or to the existing information, so how we can grab information from the Hmrc portal, your digital accounts within there as well. And then once we've got a report, the tools here would be how to refresh. The drill down attachments and PDF copies aren't relevant for the Hmrc connection. These actually complement our QuickBooks Online and Xero connections, so they won't really do anything there for yourselves, specifically around the Hmrc part. Post online is actually how we post directly to Hmrc, and I'll just show you how we can utilise that along the journey. The templates library is where you'll need to go to grab access to our Hmrc workbook, the VAT workbook, and link your data within, and again I'll show that through shortly. The audit trail is purely there just to show how your users, so if you have got team that have been interacting as well, it'll just give you some granular information about how they're utilising the tool. Add a service icon here is actually how we add the connections. So I'll be running through this shortly with yourself, but if you have got Xero or QuickBooks companies and you're looking to automate the data back in or out of them, you do it in exactly the same manner. And likewise with the Hmrc connection, so specifically on this Making Tax Digital bridging requirement we're looking at today. We can also work with a group of organisations, not relevant for the Hmrc connections whatsoever though. So if you are a group VAT registered business, you'd simply just register via the Hmrc Direct under your group's details there. Then finally add a user, so apologies, we do have multiple users within here. So you can add different staff, team, Perhaps if you're an accountant and you want to give access to your clients, you can add them all through here, limit the access rights. They're only seeing the clients that are relevant for them. Got a quick access to the web dashboard within here, and I'll be doing a little bit of work within there, but not too much today. Notifications, report a problem, which is key. So if for any reason the tool isn't working as it should, if you just make a quick note of what you're seeing, and then you can attach the workbook, it means that a support team can look into the logs behind the scenes and really understand what's happening within there. And we've also got our knowledge base and community forum. So the knowledge base is great for how to, can help with setup, installation guides, etc. And the community forum is really there if there's a question that you can't find in our knowledge base and you want to ask the Data users. So that's manned by myself, the Data team and all of our staff here, our experts, and also our users as well. So we're really building a community where we can all help each other if we have any challenges, or if there's things that we want the software to do, we can put them requests in there as well. So without further ado, coming into the planned schedule, I'm going to start adding a service now. So to do so, I'm going to do it via the toolbar, add a service Hmrc direct. And what this is going to do is automate me onto Hmrc's website, where I'll just need to authorize the Data Excel add-in to communicate with Hmrc on our behalf. So you will need to do this process once every 18 months, unfortunately, but that's the same with all software out there available at the moment. So I'm just going to copy across some credentials that I've got open in another screen here, just to show you how this works in action. And these would obviously be your own credentials, or they'd be your agent's credentials if you are doing this as an accounting firm there. So once I've got this done, here, as I say, we're going to grant authority. And the main thing is really to view the VAT information and to change the VAT information. So we need to be able to do this to post that on your behalf. But once that's done, you'll be automated back to our organisations page, and it's simple like so. And then from here, I can also connect directly in. So if I wanted to come onto my second one here, I can easily do so, just hitting connect to Hmrc, following that process again, and entering in my credentials again there. So here I am actually quickly just going to add another second one in, just simply copying and pasting my user ID and password, hitting sign in and granting authority. And that's another one done there. And just one last time for this recording, because we've got 3 examples to run through. So again, just another set of credentials that I'm copying and pasting in, and just granting the authority like so. So as I say, you will need to do this process once every 18 months. And here, if you are to stop using ourselves, you can remove the authority from Data and Hmrc at any time as well. So just simply follow that process and hit that tab there. But that's me all done. So I've now added 3 connections, and what I've done is I've authorized Data and Hmrc to talk to each other. And these connections are in the test environments, they're already MTD compliant and switched on. You would need to do that as well, but speak to your advisor around that part. So now I've successfully added my connections and granted the authority. The next thing we'll need to do is come into the templates library, and you can access this directly from the web dashboard or also from the Excel toolbar from this little templates library here that I showed you earlier. So that'll get me through to the exact same place. I can filter this library down for what's relevant, but the Hmrc one here is actually featured to the top. And to get access to this, I'll simply hit the blue download and open it up as soon as that's finished from there. And you may, with these documents, just simply need to enable them for editing. This one's actually fine for me to start working with straight away. So this here is our Hmrc Making Tax Digital template. Now hopefully for all of the users on the call today, this looks very familiar. We've designed this purposely with a similar look and feel to the existing VAT portal that you can no longer use. And we've done that deliberately to make this transition as easy as possible and to keep your confidence exactly where it needs to be, so you can focus on all the other things that are important within your business, not the compliance side of things. So really all we need to do within this document is get these 2 cells where relevant, this one, and the further 4, so 7 cells mapped across in the way to actually be picking up the figures that you used to just simply type into the Hmrc portal. We have added an additional declaration, a box number 10, And this is just specifically from our accounting partners that are working with clients and just wanted them to come back and really just to put this in. Rather than saying it in a company and email, they just wanted them to come back and have this automated to yes. You can leave it automated as yes if it's not relevant for yourself. To be honest, we could get rid of this part completely because it's not a requirement whatsoever. And I also do like to highlight and to note out at the moment. So we're not into Big Brother, VAT, Hmrc aren't, can't see everything. At the moment, we're purely still submitting the exact same 9-box summary information that you've always done at the same frequency. It's just a different format that's going to be received from Hmrc. So it's just a JSON, the actual technical format that they're receiving it in as opposed to the old formats there. On this template, we do have our notes and a user guide within here, including how to register yourself for Making Tax Digital and Hmrc's advice there, whether you are a business or whether you are an agent. And agents typically are accounting partners from there. And we've also got a very quick 6-step user guide and sort of 5 steps, because once you've done this part, you're done for 18 months, on how to use the tool. And hopefully you'll see within this that it really is very straightforward and easy to work with. So the first part that I promised to show you in its most infancy, so if you've got new clients that are going to be VAT registered, or perhaps you're a new business, or perhaps the way you've been keeping your records hasn't been digitally compliant, or it's just such straightforward that it's very easy to detail them down. And here within our workbook, you'll see that we have an Invoices and Sales tab and a Bills and Purchases tab. Now in its infancy, this is designed to be as easy as possible, but capturing as little information as you need to make sure you remain requirement ahead of the changes here. Now if you are to use this, we would recommend starting and getting the information back in from the 1st of April or from your period that it hits in, because that's when the digital record keeping requirements will come into effect from. What you'll be able to see in here is the totals are purely just a sum that's going to automate from there, included in VAT. And actually within our VAT return form, this is doing a lookup as well, looking directly into my invoices and sales sheet, into cell H2. Well, guess what? Cell H2 would be that totals figure. So this is all going to be automated from there. So jumping into our examples and starting with the first, which is going to be somebody using these ledger sheets. So I'm just going to open up a different document here, just to save me typing them out or the embarrassment of copying and pasting throughout this live demonstration. So here, looking at exactly the same workbook, all we've done is populated some example data within the sheets on the invoices and sales sheets, and likewise on the bills and purchases sheets here. All nice and easy and straightforward. And what you can see is the front page is actually automatically picking up. So I haven't had to do any mapping whatsoever within this. I simply make a note of my sales here, my purchases here, and the rest of it looks up for myself. So the information's completed. The calculated cells are working them out automatically for me. So all I need to do is really select my organisation to post this along. So I'm just going to drop that down to a yes. And if we just come to the user guide quickly, picking up from point 2. So we need to enter our VAT number, VRN, and hit refresh to bring down the obligations. We then need to map our 7 boxes, but that's not relevant because they're already done. Change box number 10 to yes. Well, I just did that quickly. And then we're getting to the post online parts there. So let me just make sure I've got the right credentials here open in another screen for this. So this should be on 960. So where I'm doing this on multiple companies, I've got multiple organisations within my list here. So I break them down by the VAT number just to make it a bit easier for myself as well as I'm going to be working through for there. So I'm going to select my client. I'm going to come in and enter my VAT registration number within here. And I'm going to hit refresh as per the user guide just informed me to do so. The VAT period, so this is the get obligations part, is going to be auto-populated within that swoop. So I'll just show you that again very quickly. So I'm just going to delete that out, hit refresh. And that's going to auto-populate this period for myself. So just coming back to my user guide quickly. So here we are, step number 2. I've done it in a little bit of a roundabout way. We've got our boxes mapped. We've changed it to number 10. So now here we simply just need to hit the post button. So let's come up to the top. So apologies there, I've just flicked through my user. So back into the Data toolbar, I'm going to hit post online. Now here I do actually get another declaration box. So this is just confirming the exact information that I'm going to be submitting to Hmrc. And as I say, this is all of the information that they will be receiving. That's important to note. If I noticed any incorrection or any incorrect entries within here, I could simply press cancel, rectify that, come back, hit post online, make sure it's all okay. I'm happy with this one, so I'm simply going to hit OK. In the bottom left here, you can see you do have to be very quick with this one. But that was posting the VAT return to Hmrc. The first step validation that I receive is actually a Data post results. So this here coming up with success lets me know that that's gone through okay. But also what we've done is we've automated down, so you can see a new sheet has been created here within this Excel workbook, confirming the VAT number and today's date, the date that I've made this submission on. Now in a real live environment, you would get a reference number come back. But where I'm in our test environment currently, because we are live and I haven't got VAT information to submit myself, luckily I'm actually not VAT registered, so this isn't something I have to worry about. That would come back though. But you can also see, so although this is the information that we have sent them, it's actually been retrieved from Hmrc's API. So within that split second, what you saw was us sending all of this information to Hmrc, their system accepting that information, us then asking for the information that we just sent to be brought back and surfaced into this sheet, including the period that you've submitted from, your VAT number, and as I say, the reference would be relevant from that. So that's done, boom. Very quickly there, that's the first submission done. And that's our example if they are to be using the invoices, sales, bills, purchases, ledger sheets like so. So as I say, more often than not, and for most of our users, they've certainly already got existing workings. So let's show you this example from a client that's already working on spreadsheets here. So let me just open this up larger for ourselves here. And I may close down a few Excel workbooks as we're running through because I'll start to get a few too many open. Now, don't worry if your existing workings don't look like this. This is just an example. This is one of the most common examples I saw when I was working in accountancy practice. And I also believe it's one of the first examples you'll grab off of Google if you are to do a clever search for how to record your information. But essentially what we've got here is a note of all of our expenses throughout the period with the totals broken down, a sheet that's detailing down our invoices as well, and then finally the VAT sheet. And this here is where it's just bringing forward all the calculations. And this is what I'd normally have been reviewing and then manually typing across onto the Hmrc website for that purpose there. So I can't do that anymore. I can't copy and paste this information. So the challenge is how do I digitally link my existing workbook onto Data solution to be able to file my VAT return compliantly for MTD. So let me just start by closing down a few Excel workbooks so we don't have too many open behind the scenes here. Perfect. And I'm just going to quickly jump into my templates library. Just open that up onto the screen here. Download another Making Tax Digital template, as this is a different client that I'm going to be working on. Once this has opened, perfect. I'm going to get rid of the invoices and bill sheets because we're not going to use them. They're not relevant whatsoever. This will break down some of the formulas because it's looking into sheets that no longer exist anymore. That's not a problem because we need to remap this anyhow. So the next thing, and it's up to you how you want to keep the information across. I like to see everything within the one workbook for myself and for working papers just to save it so it's all in the one place. So I'd recommend coming into your existing spreadsheet, your existing data or your client's data, selecting the sheets that are relevant, and I'm going to move them all for this intents and purposes. Choosing where you want to move these from, so how I did that, sorry, just to jump back, is right clicking on the sheet names, hitting move or copy within there, and coming on to the workbook that I want, so it's the Hmrc Making Tax Digital, and I'm going to select to move them to the end. Now if I was to select create a copy, this workbook will remain and it will just copy the information across. I'm actually just going to move it because now I want to get it into the right place for my workings. So now I've done that, you'll see that that workbook's gone. And if I come back into this workbook here, this is actually the template that we'd just deleted those 2 pages off. And all it's done here is actually moved across the expenses, the invoices and the VAT return. So I've now got the spreadsheet data that my client's filling out into the right place and ready to be mapped. So then it's just a case of digitally linking the cells. Now there are clever ways you can do this. You could write formulas to be looking like index and match to really look up depending on how you've broke it down. I like to keep things straightforward where possible if I'm honest. So VAT due on period of sales and other outputs equals, come to my VAT return cell, VAT due on sales, there's my box 1 figure, done. Nothing from the EU in this example, so I can leave that as 0. VAT reclaimed on my purchases equals, coming to my VAT return, there's my reclaimed on purchases. 431068 is the difference then that's calculated for myself. I'll come back, quick check on my existing workings. That's absolutely correct. So then it's just the total sales and the total purchases that I need to fill out in here. So that's boxes 6 and 7. So I'm just going to quickly come in here. That's box 6 done. And that's box 7 done. Perfect. I need to update box 10 to yes, just as a very quick thing to do. And that's it done. So that's me now digitally linking that existing spreadsheet in a compliant way ahead of the changes and getting the information onto the front worksheets that we've built where we need to submit. So that was a very easy process. I'm not going to go through that again because I'll show you it again similarly in the Sage process there as well. So I'm going to come in, enter my VAT number within here. I'll just locate it from where this is quickly so I can actually put this in. Lovely. I'm going to select my client from the drop down list here. And in doing it in this manner should actually bypass that need to refresh because it's auto populated the field as you could see there. And then I'm happy, so I'm going to hit post online. I'm just going to have a quick review of the information that's coming through. As long as I'm happy with this, I'm going to hit OK. And here I can see that it's posting the VAT return. And here we can see that data dear post results again, success status with the reference actually pulled through on this occasion. And likewise, exactly the same. So we've created that additional sheet, plonked it at the end of the workbook, automatically confirm the VAT return, the VAT number, and the dates that it's been submitted, and then retrieved from Hmrc the period that we've just submitted for, along with the values that we've just sent them. And this is all the information that Hmrc have received on there. So that's our second example in action. So I'm going to come on and show you the last one. So this is the other software outputs. So in this scenario, we've got some Sage 50 data. It's actually pulled off of one of their test and demo company files that we've pulled down for this purpose, just for the demo. But this will work exactly the same, no matter if your clients are using, perhaps they're using old QuickBooks Desktop, even on old VT. We've done solutions for SAP, for some of the Salesforce bookkeeping platforms. Effectively, as long as you're meeting the digital record keeping requirements and you can get your VAT information out, and it doesn't have to be on one report like this. I mean, this is ideal because I've literally got my 9 boxes side by side. But it could be that actually you've got your information on a couple of different sheets. As long as you can get them into Excel, and it is much easier if you can get it into Excel, but some software only lets you print a PDF. There's free tools, just go into Google and convert PDF to Excel workbook. It's absolutely fine. And this is really how we link up. So in this scenario, let me just start closing off the old workbook as well. So very similar process to what we just ran through with a client with an existing workbook, because it's almost the same sort of workflow. We've got the data, it's been captured in a separate system. We were able to get it to Excel. How do we get it to Hmrc? So I'm going to jump into our templates library, just open this onto the right screen for you. I'm going to download our Hmrc workbook. Once that's done, I'm going to delete off the invoices and bills tabs. You don't need to do this each time, you can just save a master document. I quite like it, it's just very easy to navigate through and do. And it's also showing you the workflow that you'll need to do as well whilst we're on this demo. I'm then going to come back into my output, so my VAT data. I'm going to right click on the sheet name. I'm going to move or copy this into my MTD workbook at the end. And that's simply just going to move that information. And if I come back into my Hmrc workbook, here we have my blank VAT return. Again, lost all the references because I need to map this accurately now. And then my Sage data output, my VAT 100 report. So typically I'd have just typed this into the Hmrc portal because Sage actually switched off my ability to file through their software last year. Not sure why. Well, now I just need to digitally link these cells. So this is where you could do an index and match because we've got boxes 1 to 9 here and we've got boxes 1 to 9 here. It's so easy and straightforward though, just to really just show you this. So equals, come in, box number 1. I'm actually going to override the calculated cells within here because I'm happy doing so. It's calculated through software, so I know it's accurate. And that's done. So that is literally just looked up. So if I come to this cell here, so box number 9, which is total value of acquisitions, and this is looking at my Sage 50 VAT 100 report, cell C24. I'll just do a quick check. So box number 9, cell C24. So that's all mapped across accurately, nice and easily. So my final pieces on this one is simply to come into my VAT number where requested, select my client, so just log in, 195, so I'm going to select the VAT registration number 195. That should auto populate my VAT period. Perfect, that's all gone through okay. And then I'm ready to submit again. So I'm going to hit post online. I'm just going to review the information. And with here, you may just want to put them side by side because everybody's Excel and display screens can automate. So we've actually just plunked it in the middle and it's up for yourself to move around where you're best viewing. I can check the information side by side. Once I'm happy, I'll hit OK. That's posting the VAT return. And here, again, the same validation and results as well. So there we can see that the VAT return, and I've run through the 3 examples now. So if you've got clients that wasn't hitting the digital record keeping requirements, or perhaps were, but like the look of our ledger sheets, you can use them. There's no additional mapping required. Very easy to do so. If not, more clients will actually have existing spreadsheet data, their existing workings and how they usually present it. Very nice and easy way to map across to that. And then the final solution, which is very similar to an existing spreadsheet, but they're actually using software. And it's really just how you digitally link that data in a compliant manner under Making Tax Digital there. So if I just jump back into the presentation here quickly, so just to come and take a look at the community. So the support options really that we've got available. Well, first and foremost, we do have the Data Dear experts. So if you have any very complex requirements, we'd really suggest having a chat with one of these guys and just seeing how much they can automate. They'll give you great advice, and they are spreadsheet consultants, are phenomenal with what they can do. We of course have our direct support, so it's support@datadear.com. You'll receive the email once you've signed up. But if you do have any queries or questions, you can link into our direct support team anytime that you like. We have the knowledge base there that I touched upon earlier. So that's purely just if we get a question coming to us quite often, we like to fire that back and just put an article together to help existing or future users with that issue, should I say. We've got the forum there, the community that we're looking to build, and that is, I say, over the 5,000 DataDear users or more, plus all of the accountants, our experts, and our wonderful team, our support team as well. And finally, we're in the final processes of just putting the final touches on a training program as well for this. So just going into a little bit more detail than I've gone into today on this webinar. But the idea is we can get you confident, get you trained up so you know exactly what you're doing and can use the software as you need to. But as you're only going to be touching on it sort of maybe even only 4 times a year, once a quarter, I think the training's important so you actually understand what you're doing and really know how to utilise the tool there. And then finally, before we move on to questions, and I have seen I've had plenty come throughout, so we'll be spending a good 10-15 minutes, I'd imagine, looking through these. is how to get started. So apologies I haven't updated this. We offer a free trial period for all of our QuickBooks and Xero connections. We're actually completely free of charge for these Hmrc connections, and they're free forever whilst it's in the 9-box bridging solution. So there's no plans to bring on charges from year 2, year 3 or whatever. It's completely free for that Hmrc connection. Just jump on to datadeer.com, hit free trial or try now in the top right hand corner, enter in some basic information, and there's no credit card information that you'll need to enter for these Hmrc connections. And that'll get you signed up. Create your account. From there you'll get an email, set up your password, get into the web dashboard, download the toolbar, start adding your connections and doing everything that we've done today to submit your VAT. Of course, and just to clarify on the pricing there, the Hmrc connections are completely free of charge. It doesn't make a difference if you're an accountant with 1,000 clients that you're submitting VAT for, or whether you're a business with just your own VAT submission that you need to do. The tool is free for everyone, and it works on all VAT schemes as well. So there's no real limitations within that there. And if you do have any other questions and I don't get around to answering them now, or you have to jump off, then absolutely reach out to me or the team. I'm contactable on the email that's on your screen there now, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. Perfect. So thank you very much for watching. I'm going to actually stop the recording now. I'm just going to spend a couple of seconds or 2 minutes perhaps reviewing the questions that I've got there, and I will get back to you now. If you'd like to jump off, please do so. Thank you very much for attending today. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we hope to be helping you meet your Making Tax Digital requirements from now on. Thanks for watching.